Hello, physical science, and welcome back. So in my part 1 video, I went through the first 5 questions on here. So if you're just now logging on, I would check that video first, just because it sort of starts from the beginning. This one I'm actually going to go ahead and do 6 to 10. So we'll go ahead and continue on with that. So I'm going to start with potassium. And I need to figure out my oxidation number. So that's going to be a +1. Copper, notice the 2 here. So that'll be a charge of +2. And chloride. And chlorine has an oxidation number of -1. So this is going to be K plus Cu, Cl2. Remember, I do need the subscript here because I have a +2 charge here, a -1 charge here, so I need to balance those out. Then I draw a line here. So let's double check on our activity series. We need to see where potassium is. It's pretty high up on the ranking. It is definitely above copper, which is way down here. So this reaction would actually occur. So we're going to end up with KCl plus copper. So now we need to balance that. So we've got 1 potassium here, 1 here, 1 copper, 2 chlorines. So that means I'm going to need to add a coefficient there to balance out these 2 chlorines. So now I have 2 chlorines, but I also changed how many potassiums I would have. So now I have 2 potassiums, so I need to go back over here and add a 2 to that as well. And that gives me the correct answer for number 6. I'm now fully balanced. So we'll move on to number 7. Chlorine has an oxidation number of -1. Potassium has a +1 charge. Iodide has a -1 charge. So we can go ahead and write out Cl. But we need to stop here because chlorine is one of those guys that does need to have a buddy when it's alone. So that's actually going to be Cl2. That's a 2 plus Ki goes to, so now this is a little bit different. We have an anion here. So this guy is not going to change places with K. It's actually going to see if it can swap with I. Because cations will always switch places with cations, anions will always switch places with anions. So we check our nonmetal side over here. We need chlorine to be above iodine, and it is. So chlorine is above iodine. That means this reaction will happen. So that's going to give us a product of KCl plus I. But remember, iodine is also one of the ones that needs a 2. So we need to put a 2 there as well. So we do have some balancing we need to do. We have 2 chlorines over here, only 1 over here, so this will need a coefficient. That changes this. So now I have 2 potassiums. So I'm going to need 2 here. And this 2 will also fix my iodine because now I do have 2 iodines on both sides. So number 7 is now completely done. For number 8, we don't actually have a charge here, so I'm going to call this copper 2. We'll go ahead and say this is +2. They give us iron 2, so this is +2. Sulfate, I need to double check my list of polyatomics. Sulfate is -2, so that would be SO4. Sulfate is -2. So I've got copper plus Fe, FeSO4. All of them are either plus or -2, so I only need one of that. Goes to. So we need to look at copper and iron. Copper is down here, And iron's up here. So remember, our freestanding element does need to be higher. In this case, it is not. Copper is lower on the activity series than iron. So this would be no reaction. So we're done with that one. We've got no reaction. So now let's take a look at the barium hydroxide. So barium has a +2 charge. Hydroxide is one of our polyatomics. It has a -1 charge. And magnesium has a +2 charge. So here we have BaOH 2 plus Mg So magnesium and barium are what we're looking for. Here's barium up here. Magnesium is down here. So barium actually has a is higher on the activity series, so it's more reactive. And because of that, since magnesium is lower, we're actually going to get no reaction. Look at this last one. Bromine, charge of -1. Sodium has a charge of +1. Chlorine has a charge of -1. So here we have Br, but remember, this is one of our ones that does need to have a 2 plus NaCl goes to. So we need to check our nonmetals here, because here we have an anion. So it would swap places with this anion. So we're looking at bromine and chlorine. So chlorine is actually higher up on my activity series than bromine is. So this as well would be no reaction. So lots of ones that would be no reaction on that. So this concludes the second half of the worksheet. I do hope this helps to clear up any questions you may have. Hopefully everybody will have given this a try, and tomorrow we will move on to double replacement. I hope you guys have a great night. Bye!